A poorly written joke.
Yeah.
Just that's what this film is. It's a poorly written joke. Hey guys.
Hi guys.
All right, so yesterday we went and saw Birds of Prey or Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey or
The
Harley...
Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn. Very long mouthful of words.
That's sort of the theme of how we felt about this movie.
Yeah.
Not so much the change, but mainly it just felt very sort of immature. Going into it, we didn't expect much, personally, because just a lot of the DC films just haven't been that great. And especially if we're going to compare them to Joker, where we have a more visceral film now. Something that's taken to life, at least how somebody can grow up with a hard time. The system doesn't really help him with his mental problem. And then eventually his mental health can cascade out into what we saw in the movie.
Right.
Something very visceral, something very real, something we see on the daily, really.
And I will say, I feel like the Joker movie isn't particularly for everyone, because the emotional roller coaster that it takes you on, if you've ever been in a situation where you're around someone like that, it can be very traumatic to try to watch that on screen or relive that. And it's also, it just opens up some wounds that I'm just like, wow, this movie is really hard for me to get through. But it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. It's just very emotionally draining.
Yeah, it does take a tax on you if you're watching it, whether you have any feelings for it or not. Just to watch somebody go through that and the ups and downs of that film, it just feels...
It's taxing.
You know, you feel what you see. Todd Phillips really wrote and directed a story that is real, something we can really feel, and it just shows how, you know, educated of a writer he is, because he can tap in to what's happening out in the world. Moving out of
we love Joker.
an emotional... adult story, well-written story film, we move into Birds of Prey. We move into Harley Quinn. And, you know, the problems we have with this film are the same problems we've had, you know, with prior films in the DCU. Obviously, take Wonder Woman out of that, take Shazam out of that, take Aquaman out of that, but everything else, it was taking lots of characters and trying to bring them together that really didn't need to be. They didn't take the time and the effort to really put into these characters and, you know, make you emotionally connected to them. It was like, no, let's take these and these and these, and then we can sell things and then just throw them together and make a movie.
Not giving you storylines. It's just like, boom, 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 boom. Here's all these characters. Love them. And it's like, wait, I don't even know who some of these people are. Like,
I don't want to know
I mean,
them.
clearly, like fans do, but... people who are just going in to see the movie because they're like, oh, this is a Harley Quinn movie. You don't really know who these people are and how they all kind of fit together until towards the end. And then you're also like, did that really work?
So first problem I think we both had was the plot was very weak. And when we talk about immature, it honestly, these movies, these type of movies, feel like they're written, I mean, definitely not for us. Not adults.
No, it feels like it's written by middle school boys.
Middle school boys, middle school girls. 4 middle school boys, 4 middle school girls, and it comes to a point where it's just, you know, they don't understand the characters, they don't understand what people are looking for, and they don't even understand the target audience. They just sort of run with whatever that writer feels. And we know that the writer is the same one who wrote Bumblebee.
Which was a fantastic movie.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And she's the type of writer that wants to bring in females in these roles, and that's great. And the way that she handled it with Bumblebee was fantastic. Because she didn't tell you, she showed you.
Yes.
And this is the same thing that Wonder Woman did. She said, hey, I'm powerful, I'm awesome, I'm badass. Look.
Yeah. And by
Harley
the way...
Quinn, Birds of Prey says, we're great, men are evil.
Yeah.
And like us. And
that's right.
That's an immature way to make films, to write story.
Right.
You know, show us.
Yes.
Don't tell us.
Yes, exactly. That Wonder Woman trailer was fantastic in the beginning.
Best part of this movie was the Wonder Woman trailer.
Wait, that was good. A lot of the jokes, like there were certain scenes in the movie that I was like, wow, that's good. But like along with the errors in the plot that really bothered me is they would just, like have this really great scene going. They're like, wait, let me rewind this a few days.
They did the Deadpool thing, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, this doesn't work all the time, and it doesn't work here.
No, especially when they're trying to tell all these new character stories, which we'll go into what we felt about each individual character. But when you're cutting it in different little pieces and going back and trying to tell different parts of the story, you're just kind of like, okay, I understand that you broke up with the Joker, But we got, what, 5 minutes of Joker and Harley in Suicide Squad?
I know.
So we don't
who
care.
Cares?
Like, we don't care. We don't
Just
know.
Just leave it. Like, we broke up. Cool. Okay.
We don't feel your emancipation because we don't care. We'd have no feelings about your relationship because we didn't see it.
Exactly.
And the truth is, as bad as Suicide Squad was, and we actually kind of liked it because we thought it was fun.
And the soundtrack was fantastic.
Because we figured it was a one-off and they were going to be done with it.
Yep.
And most of our problems were the character designs. They were terrible. The Joker was awful. The Harley Quinn tattoos, and they continued with that on the face. They're rotten. Yeah. Again, that's telling us, not showing us. Damaged on the forehead, that's telling us, not showing us.
Yep.
To me, that is immature writing.
Yep.
A smart writer, one that's dedicated to the craft, they show you, they give you the experience, and you feel it. And that's what we got in Joker. So it's really hard to watch this film and go back to that sort of campy, whatever that was that we saw.
Right.
And that's just what we felt. It wasn't a god-awful movie, but it to me, it was the worst of the DC films.
It was by far the worst for me. I honestly, there were times where I would just feel myself kind of like dozing, and I'm like, oh God, wake up, wake up, wake up.
It was the first time I've been in a movie, in a DC movie, especially in a superhero movie or villain, where I almost felt like this movie's sort of wasting my time. I kind of want to leave. And I know that sounds harsh, and it is. Because you guys, some people out there are going to love it, and that's just the way movies are. Everybody has an opinion on what they're looking for. I'm just going to flat out say why this film bothers me the most. For one, we're comic fans, and especially Harley and Joker, that relationship.
Yes.
The thing that I keep seeing them missing, DCWB, whatever it is you're missing the point. So I understand you're trying to push Harley out here in a main stage. And Margot Robbie did do great.
She's a great Harley, and I even love her voice, everything about her. And when she was dressed up as Dr. Harleen Quinzel...
She's amazing.
Oh my gosh, she was stunning and perfect.
And her acting is becoming great.
Yes.
She's making other characters on film look bad. They're acting.
She is.
Cassandra Cain, I thought... her acting was just not up to par. And it was
not there.
It was dramatic. I thought Black Canary did great. I thought the acting was great. Although I didn't feel like that is who she should have been. I thought her acting was really well done. She looks like a fighter. She looks like she could be a superhero.
You saw her coming into her character in this movie. Not to spoil anything, but at some point, you could see the growth of her coming into her character.
It wasn't great. I mean, again, that was a great character you could have taken and built.
But there was a little bit of an arc there.
But you just threw it into this movie because you didn't want to take the time into her character. Again, another problem I have. Cassandra Cain was just... that's a very interesting character too, guys. And you just decided to throw her in there and not give her proper story. And it was bad. And Huntress, my God, what was that? Her outfits, the making fun of her name.
She was very like Captain Marvel, very stiff, and like the way she spoke and stuff.
Well, it was I feel like that was the comedy. I just don't want her comedy. She's an awesome character.
Yeah.
She is one of the most... she's a hardcore character. Yeah, she's a very hardcore character. She could have had her own film, and if they would have done it right, I guarantee you she would have been one of the more popular
She'd been up there with
one of the things that bothers me about these, again, I'll go back to what my statement was, I get off track. You're kind of missing the point of these characters sometimes, and it drives me crazy. Let's just talk about, like we said, Joker. Very visceral film. Yeah. Something we can see somebody who has... a mental health issue, how they can become Joker.
Mm-hmm. Especially when the system fails you.
When the system fails you, you can become that. And even though we look at it as like, ugh, or cool, we still think, man, you know what? Maybe somebody like that, it could actually happen.
Of course.
You have that in Harley and Joker.
Yeah.
First off, it's very difficult for you to do Harley alone. It's very difficult. Unless she's in a Vixen movie, it's very difficult.
Well, that's what I was anticipating.
You have that in Harley and Joker, where they have an abusive relationship. That occurs all the time, too, whether it's male or female, where the one abuses the other or uses them for certain things, or maybe they both love each other, but they're violent, or they're poison for each other.
Toxic, yeah.
This is a whole movie. This is a movie people would watch.
Yep.
And they just would rather write some immature film that... throws glitter in the air and,
Well, I feel like in the world and society we live in, we don't want to glorify the types of toxic relationships that you see, and that, like Harley and Joker, that is a toxic relationship. And so I think a lot of Hollywood is fearful of making that type of movie.
But why just because us watching on the film, why is that glorifying it? Harley has a PhD in psychology. They could run on that. bring Joker in, and maybe Harley had a past where she likes the bad boy, and something's in her head that just makes her attracted to that, even though she's done everything in her life to become successful, and in walks Joker, and just something snaps in her head like, I love this guy.
Yep. She goes down the rabbit hole.
And yeah, she goes down the rabbit hole. She becomes crazy. Yep. She does everything he wants her to do. He uses her. He abuses her, but secretly also likes her. But this film, again, was immature because they felt like, how can I make other characters, and in this film, it's how do I make all the men just look bad?
Right. Well, like,
you know?
like the
it's
grievances.
Very immature.
Every time there was a grievance, like, who's this person grievance? And then like some of those were just kind of like, really, guys?
Well, she
really?
said that all her ideas the Joker took. That's not true. I mean, that's not how the character is. If we go back to the original Batman the Animated Series, Joker threw her out a window because she took all his ideas.
Yeah.
Like, you guys got to understand your characters, and you can't just have somebody write something so immature. We're over that. Society is over that. You can scream all this all you want, but you need to find the real things, the things that happen in society, the things that get people talking, the things that make us think, man, you know, I could actually see that happening in real life. And you guys out there watching, you probably know somebody that might be in a poisonous relationship for, either or, the man, the girl, whatever it could be.
Or you've been in one prior.
Yeah. And it's real, and it's a good story to tell. It's how that could work. Yeah. And then if you had a film like that, where you went out and you really saw that pain from Harley, then the next movie where she breaks out, we would care.
Talk about empowering. Like, that would be such a phenomenal film.
Yes. It just feels like an immature way to write a film. Whether it's Renee Montoya. Now, in the comics and animated series and everything, she's right there with Gordon. Like, she's a great cop. They're in a great little group. But in this movie, again, they go to all the cop guys take what she's good at.
Take her credit.
But
then she's, like, always drinking on the job, too. And it's like, that seems a little weird.
Yeah, and then, again, with the immaturity where she has a shirt that says something about...
I shaved my balls
for this. Like... To me, this feels like a middle schooler wrote it.
I was like, come on, guys.
Now, again, that's just not our kind of film. Now, that might be something that you like. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but we're the ones reviewing it, so I don't know what you want. I mean, that's just what we have to say.
Yeah, this is our opinion. If you don't like it, sorry.
Yeah. It just is what it is. But to me, personally, and you guys might agree, might disagree, I want DC to go more into, what we saw in the Joker. We don't have to have something as hardcore, because that was a very... hard movie to watch because it's the Joker. Yeah. It's the Joker. But there are films out there where you can truly feel pain and misery and things like that. And I really do feel like there's a gold mine in the Harley and Joker relationship.
Well, you should be able to connect with the characters on screen. And I feel like that's what DC has struggled with for a lot of their movies recently, because you don't have that either emotional connection or even that supportive connection. Like with Wonder Woman, I felt that. I was like, yes, this is great. This is wonderful. I love watching her go from like, this person who's not as confident in herself to, being this powerful Wonder Woman. Yeah. And so you could see her journey, and I was like, yes, this is the connection I've been looking for with a DC film. And I feel like they have dropped the ball on so many levels with so many movies. And I think with Aquaman, you could feel that connection, but not nearly as like powerful as Wonder Woman, at least for me. Maybe that's just because of the female connection.
I think Aquaman was awesome because the CG and everything like that. It was great. It was a great film.
Right.
Things I would have changed here and there. But as far as the movie goes, I thought it was good.
Right.
I thought it was a good movie. Shazam was just fun. It's Shazam is made to be a fun, lighthearted. But that's
intentional.
Yeah, I mean, Billy Batson's a kid, so you kind of want to bring that in there.
You've got to have that kid mentality.
Yes.
Because even though you have this adult playing him, he's still a kid.
But when you move into the Batman world,
oh god,
it's Gotham, and everything in Gotham is dark and it's real.
Yes.
And that's why I like Batman, actually. That's why we like Batman, because
it takes you to a place that you can't technically live in for very long. So you get to step into this crazy world.
Or a place you might live in. And like, we've lived in some bad places.
Yeah.
And we see these things. And that's why we connect with the Batman universe or the DC universe.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much the Marvel, because the Marvel is very, joyful, which is great. It's great when it's on film. because it looks great. And again, this is DC always trying to catch up with what Marvel did, but Marvel put the work in.
They did.
I mean, this is a long. Marvel's been doing this for a long time.
A decade ago.
And then we cared by the end of that Endgame because they put the work in. Where DC, it's just like, we got to catch up. Slow down.
They're putting
this
the
isn't
cart
a rush.
before the horse, you
know?
It's like,
slow it down. This isn't a rush, okay? You have some major characters here that we need to care about.
Now let's get back to this movie.
So there were a lot of problems here, and there's not a lot of action in it. And we know they brought the guy in who did John Wick to help with the fighting scenes, and you could definitely tell where their fighting scenes were and where, the Birds of Prey one was. There was a stark difference. Yeah. However, some of the scenes were just kind of strange. Like, they just were kind of weird, I would say. And there were parts, like Harley caring about a sandwich. I just felt like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Again, Margot Robbie looked great. I thought she looked better as Harley Quinn in this film.
Mm-hmm. I loved her in the roller derby scene.
The roller derby was awesome. No problems with Margot Robbie. I actually think she's doing better and better in that role. Black Mask, Ewan McGregor, great. I mean, he did a great job as far as I'm concerned.
For the little amount of time you got to see him, he did a good job.
I have a problem with the way they portrayed Black Mask because he's a very deep and dark character in DC, and he could have had his own movie too. They could have really developed that character because he is one of the he's hardcore. Huntress. Okay, so Huntress, I don't really have a problem with the actor, but I totally have a problem with how they handled her because, again, Huntress is awesome. Mm-hmm. She's an awesome character, and they were making jokes of her. And again, I feel like that's just it's just an immature way to write. I just don't think that feels. That just feels so simple and kitschy.
Tragic background that you should have played on that a little bit more. I mean, they tried to, but I felt like when they were making fun of her, like, whatever that stupid name they were calling her
or something. I don't know.
And then the whole, like, it's a crossbow. What was that line?
I'm not a kid, it's a crossbow.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
like,
what about
Green Arrow?
Tell
him that it's only kids who use bows.
It was a difficult film for me to watch, and we looked at Rotten Tomato, and they had like a 87, something like that.
It's fictitious.
And that was so far off. I didn't understand, although Metacritic had it at 60, and that's probably closer where I would rate this. Probably a 6 out of 10 is something this is a movie I won't buy when it comes out. I just didn't enjoy it. I just didn't enjoy it at all. It's not something I'd rewatch. I think there were just so many weird plot points. Even their soundtrack. While some music was good, some of the sound effects were strange. I heard like jungle noises at one point. They brought in a hyena, which I was super excited about. I was like, oh man, we're gonna see.
I know.
Not Butterloo. But I was like, oh, we're going to see him rip up some people. And they just kind of give you the cutscene of him with the foot in his mouth or whatever.
Well,
it's just
you see him go in and bite the guy in his junk. And then he's chewing on his foot. And I was like, okay.
I just don't think they got the right writer.
No, I don't think so either.
And that shocks me because I think Bumblebee was written so well.
I know.
I really do.
When you told me it was the same writer, I was like, well, no, there's no way.
I really do. That was a great movie. And even for its faults with Ghostbusters, where they were still trying to do the same thing, build a female cast.
Yeah.
And obviously that had its faults. I actually sort of enjoyed the film. I didn't think it was that bad. I think there are worse films. And even though I think a lot of us are just getting sick of that immature mentality of, if we're going to make a girl cast, let's just make all the guys bad, and that'll be our script. I think Ghostbusters didn't do that to the level that this film did.
Yeah.
I mean, there were even weird points in there where Black Mask had the girl on the table, and it got kind of dark. Why was that in the film?
I have no idea.
Just
honestly.
To show he was crazy or something?
Yeah.
It's like, again, we're not trying to spoil things for you, but I will say at the end of the film, just to show you how bad we felt like the movie was.
Oh my god, yes.
They were like, okay, we're done with the movie. We're done with Black Mask. End it. And then, if you saw the film, how they ended it, and you're like, okay, then. I guess we're going to leave the theater now.
Well, that's not the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
The end, how there's always that end credit scene. So we're sitting here just checking our phones. How's Alex? Blah, blah, blah. Waiting for this end credit. And then it finally comes up and we're like, oh, okay, here we go. And it's literally the worst thing I have ever seen in my entire life.
A poorly written joke. Again, a poorly written joke. Yeah. Just that's what this film is. It's a poorly written joke.
You've got to be kidding me! I waited through all these stupid credits just to roll through and be like,
they are long credits.
Yes.
We just spit a lot of things we didn't like about the film, but I do kind of want to say a few things that we did like about it because we don't want to be totally negative, and it's not something we are investing any emotional you know, and when there's no emotion into this for us.
I kind of figured it was going to suck.
Yeah,
so.
it just, you know, the movie came, it went, it's over, right?
Yep.
And we still have Suicide Squad 2 coming out, and I have full faith in James Gunn. I have full faith.
Me too.
He knows how to bring characters together, whether it's male and female, and make them awesome, and not worry about what sex you are.
Right, and you don't really need a whole big backstory because he's a good writer.
He does it quick, and we've already seen scenes of Harley on the set, and lo and behold,
she looks
red and
so
black.
Pretty.
Who would have thought, man? Who would have thought? Put her in her regular colors. How about that? You know.
Goodness.
So I have full faith he might put this back into track, which I'm hoping he definitely will. But as far as some of the good things, again, Margot Robbie I thought did great. I thought she did better in this film as who Harley was.
I feel
and
like
her voice.
Her voice is getting much better.
I feel like the scene going into the now again the plot was just stupid, but going into the scene trying to get. I don't know how to not spoil this, but you know what? She was going into the police, the police office, the police headquarters for. Number one, all the cops were like, she wasn't shooting live rounds.
It was like
she was
a
shooting
confetti
like
gun.
Glitter bombs, and the cops are like running around with their heads cut off, and it's just like the heck. But it was a cool scene because the colors, where they're the smoke.
Well, you had like
her.
the red and then the blue and stuff, and I was like, wow,
it mimicked
this is really
her
cool.
hair, which looked really, really good. Some of the maybe immature scenes, like the drug, shooting the cocaine, it just felt like a total Deadpool ripoff when that's not even Harley's character. And again, this is what I mean when I say I just don't feel like they know their characters. When that happened, the screen didn't change. Like if I was doing the film, once she snorted that, maybe make the vision different. Make things slow down or speed up. Do something with that. Don't just go. Yeah. It's like
I know. I was like, really? Do we really want to encourage?
But there's too many bad things. We had to stay into the positive things again.
But the positive things are this, and the negatives are like this.
I really did like some of the outfits, and I did hate some of the outfits on Harley Quinn. But I liked the colors, although I felt confused at times because I didn't feel like they stuck with an overall color theme. I did like
that caution jacket thing, that shredded confetti
caution jacket.
One.
It was cool. Pretty interesting. The gold overall deal was kind of interesting. Obviously, her roller derby thing I think looked the best, but we only got it for
13 seconds.
A quick scene. They went into the carnival that was shut down.
That looked really cool.
Although the rides were working on the inside where they had the fight.
Yeah.
With the hands that were doing this.
I still thought that was cool. I know that there's a big discrepancy there, but I liked that. I enjoyed that fight.
It was probably the best action scene. Even though you could literally see the people trying to keep their foot when they were fighting because the floor was spinning.
Well, and then plus when Cassandra Cain was supposed to be acting like she was scared when, something else happens, when someone gives her something to hold, and she was just kind of like, let me duck down now. I was like, you're supposed to be scared.
So, I guess ending the review here, because we don't want to keep it too long. Movie was average for us. It was just average. It wasn't
average for me.
So, this isn't a movie I would be like, this is so bad, don't watch it. I wouldn't say that. I would just say this is probably weaker than Suicide Squad if you didn't like Suicide Squad. Right. Now, there are going to be people out there that really like this because maybe they don't know the characters. Mm-hmm. Maybe they don't care about what their past were, or they never watched Batman the Animated Series or whatever. And they just want to see, 4 girls going at it, fighting people or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Taking down the man!
Taking down the man. I think those that actually maybe care about the character and really want to see something more adult, at least in storytelling, I'm not sure you're going to like this one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm not sure you're going to like this one. So I'm really interested to know what you guys think because it is such a split on what we're seeing online and what people think. I see a lot of people saying they really like it. I see a lot of people saying they really hate it.
Yep.
I would put myself about here. If this was hate and this was really like, I'd put myself about here. And this is the center.
I think I'm about right here.
Yeah. So, a forgettable movie for us, but I still do hope that they get Harley together, and hopefully James Gunn will put her back on track. You have the
perfect person to play Harley right now. Capitalize on that.
Please.
And run with it.
Please. And it's a shame because they just ruined Joker. And thus ruining her story.
Let's just dust him out of the scene and then bring in Joaquin Phoenix. And we'll just bring these two together and then it might make better.
How would you guys feel about this? And I'm being honest about this. If DC if they just said, hey guys, can we just forget about what happened? Would you be okay if we started a whole nother movie where we gave you a different Joker and maybe even the same. I mean, let's just say they went with an older Joker and they brought in Margot Robbie with Joaquin Phoenix. Let's just say in a perfect world that happened. Would you be okay with him starting over, giving her a new origin movie, them to, like we talked earlier, where you could really find that abusive relationship? Would you be okay with that and just forget about everything, or do you want them to finish this up and then start over, or just give it some air? I'm anxious to know what you guys think. So that's it. That's it for us. If we made you mad, we're sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Just an opinion. It is what it is. We got to listen to opinions, guys. It's just the way the world works. We have to listen to yours. You had to listen to ours, and we have to accept it.
And you know what? If you don't like our opinions, there's always that pause button, and you can move on.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Bye.